Florida State's Jamie Arnold came into this year's draft in the mix to be the top college pitcher in this year's class. He did nothing wrong. He did everything as expected. He's not our number one college starter, but he's right there. What will a team be getting if they select Jamie Arnold? We're going to talk about that on a draft profile. So, Carlos, I feel like that Jamie Arnold has been around for both forever, but at the same time, obviously, he's perfectly appropriate for the class, age appropriate and all that. But Jamie Arnold has been a very productive player now for multiple years, very productive pitcher for multiple years. What stands out about Jamie Arnold and why is he at the top of the draft class?
Yeah, we have him ranked as the number 6 player in the class, the number 2 college pitcher in the class, the number 3 overall pitcher in the class, who expect his name to be called very early within the first 10 picks. And I think that's because he's just a very complete pitcher. You don't have to project a ton on him. You don't have a lot of questions about whether or not he's going to start or relieve. There's a lengthy track record of performance that he has. In 2024, the only pitcher in the ACC that was better than Jamie Arnold was Chase Burns, who set a draft bonus record with the number 2 overall pick last year. I do not think Jamie Arnold has the sort of electricity or dynamic stuff that Chase Burns brought to the table, but he has a really unique low arm slot from the left side. He's got an intriguing fastball slider combination that I think could be conservatively plus pitches. The movement characteristics with his fastball, with his slider, make them very difficult to barrel up. That's allowed him to rack up a ton of strikeouts in his time at Florida State. And I think maybe the separator for him versus like a Burns or a Hagen Smith that I think is a common comparison for him as a low slot left-hander, Hagen Smith from a year ago, is that he has a more prototypical starter look. The delivery, while the arm action is a little unusual, he repeats the delivery very effectively. His track record of throwing strikes is rock solid. The command may be backed up a tick this year compared to a year ago when he was just dominant. But I think you take all of those pieces and you put it together, and it's a pretty compelling middle of the rotation starter profile that I would expect. He's on the short list of one of the players who could move most quickly from this year's draft class.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think he's got a chance for 3 above average or better pitches. I mean, for me at least, and for both of us, he's got a plus fastball slider combination. The changeup has been a real revelation in 2025. He doubled its usage, and I say he doubled his usage. He increased it from 4% to 9%. But it's kind of like when we talk about someone like Merrick Houston increasing his power grade from a 30 to a 40. That's still valuable for Arnold, and it's a pitch that's trending in the right direction. The feel for it is still a little bit of a work in progress, and the command is lacking on it, but he's generated a fair share of swing and misses with it. It's gotten better, not only during his college career, but it got better throughout 2025. And going back and piggybacking off of your point, his slider is one of the best of its kind in this year's draft class, at least at the college ranks. It's particularly a weapon against left-handed hitters, just given his extremely low 3/4 slot. He'll essentially just release it behind their backs, and it will sweep all the way across the plate and sometimes end up in the right-handed hitter's batter's box. He can land it for strikes. He can locate it out of the zone for quality misses, so to speak. His feel for it is the most polished of his 3 pitches. I'm kind of curious to see what the fastball is like as he transitions into pro ball. This is more of a Peter nitpick, but it seems like the fastball quality, or at the very least the command, took a little bit of a step back in 25, but I think that's more of just an anomaly than it is a trend. He throws 2 different fastball shapes, which is really appealing. The slider's the moneymaker. It strikes, it's tough. It's a left-handed starter with unique release traits. There's a whole lot to like with Arnold when you kind of start to bucket him out.
I say this. I think that people are going to hear this and they're going to think that I'm kind of being negative here. And I don't mean it that way. But what stands out to me about Arnold, and I wonder what you all thought, he's kind of, I feel like, kind of the safe bet at the top of this draft class among the pitchers. If you said, hey, I want the highest upside, then I would say there are probably a couple of other choices. But if you said, I want a pitcher who's going to fit into the middle of my rotation, who's going to be durable, who's going to throw, multiple pitches, who's going to turn over the lineup multiple times. Carlos, I look at him as kind of probably Tyler Bremer would be the other one in that consideration, but is Arnold the safest bet, the most likely to be a productive starter of this group of top of the draft college pitchers?
Yeah, I think so. And I'm glad you bucketed Bremner in there as well, because he would be the other pitcher that I pointed to. I think with both these guys, you just feel confident about what they've done now. There's no significant injury question mark on their resume. The strikes track record is impressive. I mean, Arnold is a guy who has a career 8% walk rate. He's posted a sub 3 ERA multiple years now in a really strong conference in the ACC. You can still dream on him a little bit, because I do think Peter, touching on that changeup, is maybe the wild card of his arsenal. I don't really need him to throw the changeup a ton at the next level to be excited about him, because the fastballs and the slider are already so good. But the changeup is a really special pitch just because of the movement he's able to generate on it. I mean, I know he's talked about how it moves so much that it's been difficult for him to locate because of that movement profile. But I think as he throws it more, it's going to become a consistent weapon for him. And I do think that he's one of the players in this class that you don't really need to project anything more for him to fit into a middle of rotation starter role. If he just is the same pitcher that he has been for the last 2 years for the next 6, I think you're going to be pretty happy with what you're getting from him.
And Peter, kind of along those lines, I do feel like also that he could be one of the fastest movers of this draft class, in part for what Carlos just said. Like, there's not a whole lot where you say, oh, he has to do this, he has to learn how to do that. You also have this kind of, he's taken the ball every Friday night. It's a little bit different schedule, but he's taken the ball every Friday night for multiple years. You're not having to worry about, oh, this guy doesn't have the innings. He hasn't, gone out there every week. Is this the guy who might be most likely to be in the rotation somewhere before next year's draft?
He's certainly a candidate, and to Carlos's point, I mean, he's a pitcher, not a thrower, which I think, it's a cliche phrase, but so many college guys and amateur guys lack pitchability at this stage. And Jamie Arnold, along with someone like a Tyler Bremner or a Kate Anderson, and even Kyson Witherspoon to a degree, which is something that makes all 4 of these guys appealing, is there's a thorough amount of polish with Arnold. We touched on the strikes. We touched on the stuff. There isn't really an obvious wart you can point to with Jamie and kind of circle in red marker and be like, okay, he needs to really hone this in or work on this. Yeah, the feel for the changeup's a little bit of a nitpick. But like Carlos, and I'm sure with you, JJ, I have an immense amount of confidence that it's going to be an effective third pitch as he gets into professional baseball, as he progresses through it. And I don't even know why I'm talking about the changeup so much, because he's got a plus fastball slider combo that I think is going to more than play at the next level. The fastball is ticked up throughout his career at Florida State. He throws 2 different shapes of it. And then the slider's the slider. That's his moneymaker. It's this hellacious sweeper from his low 3/4 slot. So I like Jamie a lot. I think he has a very long big league career potentially ahead of him.
That's our draft profile on FSU's Jamie Arnold. If you enjoyed this draft profile, check out more over at the Baseball America YouTube channel and subscribe so you can see all of our content every week.